There is a reason I have chosen to stay in Lafayette. I actually at one point had even moved out of state and came back to Lafayette, did not choose Baton Rouge or any other cities in this area because there is something special about Lafayette, and I want to tell you about all of those things so you can compare both places and you can decide which one is the best for you. Lafayette versus Baton Rouge. Everything that you need to know about living in both of those cities and which one is the better choice for you. I'm here to tell you exactly what you must know about these cities so you don't make the mistake of moving to the wrong one and then deciding it is not the right fit for you. Hi, I'm Drake Abshire with Epic Realty in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I am born and raised from this area. I'm a new construction and luxury expert, and I would love to tell you guys everything you need to know about this area. If you're looking to buy, sell, relocate to this area, or invest, please reach out to me and my team, and we would love to connect with you. All of my information is in the description below. Feel free to call, text, email me, and I will get back to you and tell you everything and answer any of your questions that you need to know. But now for the ultimate showdown, let's get into it. Baton Rouge versus Lafayette. So some people may think I'm a little bit slanted when I'm giving this information because I live in Lafayette, but I have spent a lot of time in Baton Rouge. I have stayed many times there. I am there visiting on weekends, lots of friends, and I have a lot of close family and friends who all live there. So my experience, I would say, is pretty solid. There is a reason I have chosen to stay in Lafayette. I actually at one point had even moved out of state and came back to Lafayette, did not choose Baton Rouge or any other cities in this area because there is something special about Lafayette, and I want to tell you about all of those things so you can compare both places and you can decide which one is the best for you. Of course, I made this decision for myself. Doesn't mean that you'll arrive at the same conclusion. But let's get into a little bit of stats and data so we can compare them side by side, and then you can say to yourself which one's the good fit. So first of all, the age group you may be thinking about that's in this area. So actually, it's 4.2 years older is the median age group actually in Lafayette versus Baton Rouge. So you could say we probably have a bit of a larger crowd. I think that has something to do with the fact that they have LSU in Baton Rouge. So you have a lot more young people coming from all over the country and all over the world to actually study at that school. We do have UL of Lafayette, which is also a pretty major college for the area, but it does not have the same size campus as Baton Rouge. So that's just my thoughts. I don't know if it's actually a fact, but I would say for the most part, that's probably likely as to why there's a younger crowd in Baton Rouge area. So believe it or not, the housing costs here in Lafayette are actually 5.4% more expensive than Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge does have some very ritzy neighborhoods with some very high price points, but for an extent and a large part of Baton Rouge, you will actually find that the prices tend to be on the lower end, and there's actually a lot of suburbs that don't have very expensive homes. You really only find the more expensive places really in the center of town and in some of the larger estate type areas that you'll find there. Of course, housing closer to the college tends to be much more expensive, and anywhere where you're going to find yourself right in the city or close to the heart of pretty much everything, all of the fine restaurants and dining, will be much more expensive. Lafayette, for the most part, tends to be more consistent in its housing. You can say the average home price is right around that $250 price point to about $225. You can really find a pretty decent place for that price, and you'll find that some of those neighborhoods are actually located right in town. You don't really have to go very, very far to find a more neighborhood type of lifestyle. So relatively speaking, I think you would enjoy the more suburban lifestyle and some of the suburbs that we have that all border Lafayette. Now you may be asking, which city has a longer commute? Which people are sitting in the car longer? Well, actually in Lafayette, you can find that the residents only travel 0.3 minutes shorter than the residents of Baton Rouge. And that makes sense. I can tell you for a fact, every time I've gone through Baton Rouge, the bridge, there's a major bridge that crosses over the Mississippi River, and it is known for always having an accident or some kind of traffic that is backed up. So anytime you're trying to get over the bridge or even across the Atchafalaya Bridge, you are are always going to find if there's a car accident or anything that's going on, even just a car stalled, the traffic is going to be horrendous. I would say because Baton Rouge is of course larger, it is much more widespread. So it makes sense that you would have a longer commute for most places that you're going to. And of course, a nightmare, something that you have to be aware of living in Baton Rouge, would be the LSU games. When there's an LSU game happening, the football games, these are massive. They attract hundreds of thousands of people for these games, not only for the tailgate, but for the people who go inside of the stadium to watch these games. And the traffic is terrible located around the stadium, even on the interstate leading up to when game time is, or when games are letting out. So please be aware of the traffic. And also, of course, just like any other city, the commuting traffic can be really, really tough in those morning times, and of course around that 5 o'clock rush hour. Now, as far as Baton Rouge goes, it has rich history just like Lafayette and plenty of things to do in that area. So it's not a city where you'll find yourself bored. There are actually some of my most favorite restaurants that are all around Baton Rouge. Superior Mexican Grill actually being one of my favorites. There's multiple locations across town, and also Building 5. Building 5 is a awesome little hideaway. It's got a rooftop bar, craft cocktails. It's a farm to table style restaurant. Make sure to try it out. You will not be disappointed. But the good news is, if you're comparing Lafayette versus Baton Rouge and you want a Superior Grill, well, guess what? We're getting one. They're building us one right now, and we're hoping in 2024 it should be completed and ready to stuff your face with all those chips and queso. So as far as things to do, there's really quite a few things if you're more of an outdoor person. In the area, there are actually some scenic trails like BREC Park. There's also an Alligator Bayou wildlife management area. So if you like seeing alligators, nutras, turtles, all of those types of things, the different critters that are from this area, then of course there's lots of scenery and cool ponds, all that you can run around, walk around, take the kids for a bike ride, take the dogs with you for a walk, all fun areas. Again, with the little dogs, watch out for gators. And of course, if you're a sports fan, just like myself, go Tigers. You can also watch the LSU games. You obviously have softball, football, all of those sports that you're into. LSU is prime and really known for their amazing sporting events. Tiger Stadium, get ready to get your ears blown off. It's a lot of fun. The drinks will be flowing. People will have a great time, and you'll smell some amazing food as you're going through those tailgate areas. Downtown is known for having great areas for music lovers. So there's bars, there's restaurants, there's lots of live things that you can go to. For instance, they have the Varsity Theater, which is known for live music performances. And there's really a diverse array of attraction and things to do that you can find throughout the whole area. And of course, there's the Mall of Louisiana and Blue Bonnet Drive. So looking for movie theaters, if you're looking for coffee shops, shopping, all of your typical stores that you're looking for clothing, then obviously there is really good shopping. I will say Baton Rouge does have a stronger shopping market for clothes than Lafayette does. I think Lafayette is getting better and we're getting more stores. But when you compare the two, yes, I do think Baton Rouge wins in that area. The good news is if you do want to shop and you want some things that Baton Rouge has, you can count on about an hour and a half, especially if there's traffic. If there's no traffic, you could probably get there in an hour and 15 minutes from Lafayette to Baton Rouge. As long as I said, like, there's no wrecks on the bridge, you can really travel back and forth between the two cities pretty easily, so your commute would not be absolutely horrible. But I've had where if there is an accident or something bad happening, it can take up to 2 hours or an hour and 45 minutes to get from one place to the other if you have to deal with the traffic. Now Lafayette, well, what are the things to do in Lafayette? Well, it's the heart of Cajun country, so of course there's plenty of food and lots of fun. We have live entertainment. We of course have UL, so you can watch the Raging Cajuns. What's awesome is we're actually getting a brand new stadium. They just knocked it down and they're planning in the end of 2024 to have the new stadium completed, and it is going to be top of the line boxes. It is going to be absolutely beautiful. It is a few $1 million project, so it should really make Lafayette stand out as far as the Raging Cajuns football. And of course we have one of the top ranked baseball programs actually in the country. Many people don't even know that with UL College. Of course, the education here is top notch. We do have UL of Lafayette. It's known for one of the strongest art programs in the country. Many people do come to that school, and it is a very prestigious, recognized school for around the country. So of course, education would be something that's very strong if you're moving to this area. Is it the same as LSU? It's not on the same scale, but it is still considered a top-notch school in the country and still a very recognizable degree. If you're a history buff, then Lafayette does have a lot of great historic sites that you would enjoy. Vermilionville is known as a country village. It's a Cajun village. It goes all the way back to what life was like in the early 1900s and even into the 1800s when things were just little Cajun villages in the area. They have the clothing, the lifestyle, all of the different things that people would have done living at that time. And so it's fun for the whole family. There's food, you can make a day of it, and there's lots of things to see. If you're curious about a couple stats of Baton Rouge versus Lafayette, here's just a few more data points. So the population in Baton Rouge is about 225,500, and then the population in Lafayette is 122,000. The median income in Baton Rouge is actually at $46,000. The median income in Lafayette is actually at $55,000. The median age in Baton Rouge is 32. The median age in Lafayette is 36. The unemployment rate is actually 7.5% in Baton Rouge versus in Lafayette, the unemployment rate is actually 5.8%. The average commute time in Baton Rouge is 21.4 minutes, and the average commute time in Lafayette is 21.7 minutes. So very slight differences, not huge. Really, it's all about where you live in proximity to where you work. So overall, which one is better, Lafayette or Baton Rouge? Well, that's up to you to decide. Me personally, I love Lafayette. This is where I'm at. This is my home. Absolutely, if you need help, buy, sell, relocate, please reach out to me and my team. We would love to connect with you and help you fall in love with Lafayette just like we have. We'd love to show you around, show you some awesome properties. And of course, remember guys to like, follow, and subscribe. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know if you have any questions about Lafayette or even Baton Rouge. If you need an agent in Baton Rouge, I have some great friends there that can also help you. So please connect with us. As always, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.